Welcome to the award-winning Champions Mojo. Hosts Kelly Pallas and Maria Parker are world record-setting masters athletes, authors, and performance coaches that are committed to connecting you with champions and experts from swimming and to other inspiring people and topics. And now, this week's Micropod.
Okay, Maria, Amanda Coker, ultracyclist, and what an inspiration. You know, we always say that, and I in the show, if you can listen to the whole show, fantastic. You will get way more than we're going to give you in this micro mojo. But our takeaways, which Maria and I are going to give you two of the biggest things that we learned and gleaned from talking with this champion. And it was just, I rarely cry in a podcast, but I cried from being inspired, from just fully like being, I am in the same species as this human. Like this is a fellow human that does this. So boy, what a wimp I am to be worried about, like I'm saying, it just raises you up when you hear what Amanda has done and
how she talks to herself,
and she's how she talks to herself
about. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start out with my first takeaway, because one of her things, besides all these world records that she's broken and riding over 237 miles a day for over a year, for 365 days, that's her main thing, her world record, her hammer record. But she has a saying, which is inspiration is contagious. And I feel like I have caught Amanda Coker's inspiration. And so that my first takeaway is that when she was out there grinding through all this heat and rain and wind and cold, that she was encouraging others when they would come out and ride. She didn't ask them to come out and ride, but they would come out and ride, and she would recognize them in her social media, in her world, and that she was inspiring others, and she's already inspired me. So I think when we do something super hard, that we don't even realize that we are inspiring others.
Yeah, she was intentional about it. We do inspire others. I mean, Kelly, you inspire me all the time. But I think this is a trait of champions. In addition to doing your own thing, you're always giving, and I think maybe that's the sign of a true champion. And certainly Amanda Coker did that during her hammer ride. People be out there like, I've never ridden 100 miles. I'm going to try to ride 100 miles. They weren't riding with her. They were just riding because they were inspired by her, and she was in turn inspired by them. And so, it just gives me goosebumps. It's just, good adds to good, adds to good, adds to good. It's a beautiful thing. Well, the second takeaway.
No, your first takeaway.
My first takeaway.
That was right. My first takeaway.
Yeah, my first takeaway is that she consistently turned negativity into something positive. I mean, she told lots of stories, and you should listen to the whole podcast, but lots of stories that she was overweight in high school and bullied. And, she turned that into motivation when things were hard during hammer and there was some negativity on social media about what she was doing, or people didn't believe it. She turned that into motivation, into positivity. For a person who's had the kind of challenges that she's had, she's insanely positive. And that was what I got a taste of when I was at Sebring. She just came over to be positive and to help me and to encourage me. And so she said, I use the negativity, and I think, you know what, come on, bring it on, because that just makes me go harder. It makes me want to do more. So I love that as something to live by, because I think we can get a little bit torn down by our negativity, but she uses her own negativity and others' negativity to be better. So what was your
I think that's a great one. Using negativity for fuel.
Right.
My second one was, my big question for her coming into this as a swimmer and hearing, okay, what can I get from a cyclist that just rides her bike all the time? So my question was, what motivates you? And that was the answer of the whole podcast for me. And I don't want to ruin it, but one of the motivations was that when she was so severely injured and in the hospital, she feared that she would never ride her bike again. And so getting back on the bike was a giant motivation because she loves riding her bike, and, she loved it. And so I think it's that gratitude for being able to ride. So my takeaway is we don't have to wait for an accident or something to be taken from our lives to appreciate it. So, now I feel like, she's more grateful for riding and other things. But if we can just say, gosh, I need to just admit that I like to do this and do it and really appreciate it without having to lose it first.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Gratitude makes you, it is a privilege to be able to move our bodies and to be outside. And it's beautiful, Kelly.
What was your last takeaway?
My second takeaway, the last one is something that I've been saying for a long time, and maybe it's just an ultra athlete's theme, but it's micro goals. Like, you don't ever accomplish 8,000 miles in a month or 3,000, whatever it was in a year by thinking I'm going to do that. You think, what am I going to do today? And she articulated that so well, just like, I was just going to go out and try. And I thought, well, I'll try this and then I'll try, that. And so and that's also how she keeps things fun. It's not like, you're not, the big goal is a huge boulder we can't carry around, but we can do little things and it's fun. So break everything down into some small goal that you absolutely know that you can finish, and then celebrate. And she said that too. Celebrate. We don't celebrate what we do enough. We tend to, you and I've done a whole podcast on that. Go back and listen to our celebration podcast. So important for continuing to motivate us. So micro goals, when you achieve them, celebrate.
Yeah. Love that. Love small goals. Get you to the big, the big finish. So wonderful, wonderful interview. And, it was truly inspirational. So Maria, thanks for bringing Amanda to us. And it was fabulous. And I, again, just so appreciate you being an ultra cyclist and amazing champion yourself. And I love you.
I love you too, Kelly. Thanks so much. Take it easy.
All righty. Bye.
You've been listening to the Champions Mojo podcast with host Kelly Palace and Maria Parker. Champions Mojo is produced by Cabra Media, and a new episode debuts every Tuesday. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Follow Champions Mojo on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook @Champions Mojo.